Well, it seems like game journalists are salty again, crying online at what they call game science censoring gaming reviews. This is Lavistro, the Dragon of Cyberspace, coming at you with all news, tips, and tricks within the gaming spectrum. If you like my work and wish to support, please hit the subscribe, like, and notification bell. And please share this video so we can get pushed out into the algorithm. Also join our Discord and join us 10:30 Central Time every night for live gaming streams. Let's get started, shall we? Niche Gamer reports, rumor, Black Myth Wukong censors content creators who accept keys. A document has been floating around the internet allegedly containing a list of do's and don'ts for content creators who receive keys for Black Myth Wukong. The list, which has been publicly disclosed by at least one YouTube channel, still hasn't been verified, but contains a list of topics that reviewers agree not to discuss in the context of the game. This is the list that was screenshotted and shared. It reads, notice, by using the game key and creating content, you acknowledge that you have been informed of the following content and your statements are not related to the marketing team. Do's and don'ts. Do's. Enjoy the game. Don'ts. Do not insult other influencers or players. Do not use any offensive language or humor. Do not include politics, violence, nudity, feminist propaganda, fetishization, and other content that instigate negative discourse. Do not use trigger words such as quarantine or isolation or COVID-19. Do not discuss content related to China's game industry policies, opinions, news, X. In other words, be professional. Don't talk about the 3 taboo topics in polite company: sex, politics, and religion. Don't talk about anything that's not related to the game in general. While the list has yet to be verified, it should be noted that game science is based in China, which in recent years has been flexing its authoritarian and censorship policies abroad. While we didn't receive a key at Niche Gamer, at least one other gaming website reported they did not receive a similar document, which means either this document is fake or it was only given to YouTubers and streamers. Unfortunately, I do not understand why Niche Gamer thinks that this is authoritarian. It's a very common practice back when game journalists used to be, well, gaming journalists, reviewing games and not using a game, a magazine, or a publisher as a platform for their politics. Well, yes, it is true that the CCP does do authoritarian demands due to its political ideology. I find nothing in here that would suggest that. So I decided to look more into it. And I came across this article by That Part Place. Black Myth Wukong developers, game science reportedly bans content creators from including politics and feminist propaganda. Black Myth Wukong developer Game Sciences reportedly banned content creators who were given a game key from including politics and feminist propaganda among other things in their content surrounding the game. A screenshot of what appears to be some sort of content agreement was shared to X by legal analyst Andrew Esquire, aka Legal Mindset. The agreement informs content creators that they cannot insult other influencer players and that they are not to use any offensive language or humor. It then notes they cannot include politics, violence, nudity, feminist propaganda, fetishization, and other content instigate negative discourse. So basically what we've already read in Niche Gamer. Black Myth Wukong and its developers at Game Science have been a subject to a smear campaign from numerous media outlets including IGN, The Guardian, and GameSpot, which we have covered already in a previous video, which I will link in the card at the upper right corner of the screen. Basically, they go on to say what we talked about in that video I mentioned. IGN's Rebecca Valentine initially ran an article accusing developers of sexism with multiple references of genitalia and sexual innuendos, and continues on. We've already covered that. Going on, however, these translations have been called into question. A clip from Asmongold's clips notes that Feng Ji's comment is used as an idiom in Chinese language, as a colloquial expression used humorously or sarcastically to describe a situation where excessive flattery or sycophancy has an overwhelming and paralyzing effect on someone. The use of such metaphors can be found in informal speech on social media. Basically what I said in a previous video, using innuendos to describe the situation, and is used by both sides of the human race, male and female. The video also alleges that the other posts were translated in the most uncharitable way possible in order to push the narrative that developers is sexist and misogynist. Nevertheless, the IGN doubled down on the accusation as part of their Black Myth-Wukong first impression article. The realization about the outlet's report from November. So basically what we said before, where she keeps trying to make this thing a thing for her because she wants more awards. As we found out, she's a winner of so many awards. All she cares about is awards, not how she got them, not the integrity of how she got them, not the integrity of her work. It's like every journalist, they want an award.
It's a great idea. I'll make up some news. Real news is great, son. But I'm getting 1,000 hits an hour with grade A bullplop. I smell another Pulitzer.
As you can see, even as a kid, journalists only cared about awards. Continue on, it still talks about her article and how she wishes there was more female characters, and that these accusations were repeated in Tom Reagan's coverage of the game in The Guardian. I am unfortunately met with little honest communication when I bring up a report from IGN, which related alleged sexist comments from multiple developers at Game Science as well as in leadership roles. You do realize a first impression is a lasting impression, and already, going back to November up to today, game journalists have been giving a bad impression of themselves to this company.
To just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
As such, people are just ignoring them, which is what we should have done here in the West. He then referenced an interaction with one of Game Science's co-founders, who he refers to as Ted. I present Ted with the opportunity to address the claims of misogynistic posts and whether he feels that they represent Game Science's values. Instead, I am shut down with a hasty no comment from their UK PR representative, and then a long wait, given a longer statement of no comment via Ted's translator. Basically, they told him to go fuck off.
Fuck off.
Which, you know what, I don't blame them. I'm then told Game Science's US PR representative will follow up later with a prepared statement, only to be sent the following. Game Science is focused on the demo at this time and will only answer questions related to gameplay, Reagan wrote.
Fuck off.
But yes, they should focus on their demo, they should focus on their work, and these journalists should be focusing on that. But I got more news on that in a separate video as far as these alleged sexism claims. But if you want to know the context of it, please watch the video. Again, I'll put it in the upper right corner of the screen right now, so you can click on it whenever you want. GameSpot also pushed these claims in a recent video. Okay, it's just talking about more, the same thing that we already covered also in the video. I decided to check more into this as I did not feel any proof of censorship was found. So since I couldn't get more explanation for Niche Gamer's article, and that part place clearly hasn't found anything that was concerned of censorship as well, I decided the Gamer. Game Science is reportedly making content creators promise not to discuss feminism, politics, or for Black Myth-Wukong codes. Update. More sources have come forward claiming to have seen the document in question. GLHF claims to have acquired it and confirmed its authenticity and reports that it came from Hero Games, Black Myth-Wukong's co-publisher. Paul Tessie. Oh, hello, buddy. You're in the video. If you don't know, it's in the beginning of the video, of this card right here on the upper right-hand corner. From Forbes, says he also acquired the document from a creator in the US. Another French YouTuber, Nostal Greek, also says they were sent this list of restrictions. Our original report follows. Black Myth-Wukong developers Game Science is reportedly trying to ban content creators from discussing certain topics in exchange for game codes. In a leaked document which one content creator has publicly stated they received from Game Science, there's a do's and don'ts section. Wait, hold on. How is it a leaked document? If you were given that document by a company saying do this and don't do that, it's yours. Did this person sign a non-disclosure agreement? No. Then it's not a leaked document. It's not leaked. He shared it publicly. He can do whatever he wants with it. If I get an email from the gamer saying this, that, I can share that whatever I want. That's not a leaked document. Unless he say, don't tell anyone, then it's not leaked. You can do whatever you want with it. How's that leaked? Leaked document indeed.
To just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Telling those who receive a code what they cannot discuss in their content. Here, the document informs those with Black Myth-Wukong codes they cannot include politics and feminist propaganda in the coverage of the game, among other topics. Which, guess what? I guarantee you. We go on Twitter, we go any other YouTuber channel, we go to any gamer and you ask them if they want politics or game discussion, they want game discussion. So what they're asking for is everything related to the game. There's no feminist propaganda in the game, so you can't discuss it. There's no politics in the game, you can't discuss it. They're asking you to be a professional and review the game. That's all they're asking for. Don't use their game for your political soapbox and your anti-male stance or whatever you want to call it. Journalist Don Partons reported on this document earlier today, saying that he had talked with content creator to receive this agreement, Parsons specifically named the French YouTube channel Xser, which also shared the agreement in a YouTube video. Following this, the Google Docs containing this apparent agreement was shared on Reddit. Here, it's claimed that the document was received by journalists, but this was not included in the review code agreement that we received. If this document is legitimate, it seems that it was instead sent out to content creators and was not attached to review codes. With that said, Parsons reports this document was not part of the sponsored content agreement either, making it more concerning that GameScience would allegedly try to influence the coverage of the game. You guys are salty that they're giving it to us YouTubers and content and gamers, actual gamers, because you're not reviewing the game. And it's no surprise. There's a Screen Rant article that gave it a bad review because it didn't have enough diversity in it.
To just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
You have IGN smearing and slandering it. We have a video, which again, I'll put in the upper right corner of the screen. This is like the fourth time I guess I've done it, where I explain the contents of the controversy of Game Science, that y'all made an issue of a nothing burger. Y'all try to spin something in the worst possible way because Game Science just refused to decide to take SBI's extortion rap. So I have no sympathy for you here, okay? Yeah, they are trying to influence the coverage of the game. Every company does this. The difference is we've known this since 2014. You guys get paid to give a game a positive review, and anyone that questions or says, hey, you guys are lying, this game sucks, you gaslight and berate them and censor them. Y'all done this. We don't have to go far. You want to go, perfect example? Alyssa Mercante from Kotaku stalking a YouTuber named Hypnotic. I'm a mod on his channel. I see her on there doing that. We see the tweets, and that's not just him she's going after. There are game journalists everywhere that has at one point in time smeared YouTubers. For example, yeah. So I have no sympathy for you. I'm sorry. All they're telling you is, hey, we already know the game journalists are going to continue doing what they do best, which is using our game, our product, as a soapbox for their agenda and their political narrative.
But I'm getting 1,000 hits an hour with grade A bullplop.
So we're asking you, if you want this free code, then you need to agree to this. So basically, it's basic capitalism. It's not even communism. It's not even censorship. A good or service is being traded for a good or service of another type. This game is a very highly anticipated game. It has high value. You don't have to accept it. If you don't want to do that, go buy the game yourself for $59.99, $60 basically. Pre-order it. You can probably still pre-order it right now. I have it pre-downloaded already, ready to go. And I can talk about whatever I want. But if the gamer came to me about this, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that seems fair. Review the game. Got it. Apparently, y'all don't understand that. Y'all want to be political pundits. Okay. I decided to check up on our buddy Paul Tassi here and see what he had to say about it. The Black Myth Wukong, no premise propaganda, no COVID-19 discussion email is real via, and he links his website. What does it matter? Justin Davis says. Is the fucking game good or not? JFC, y'all argue about some of the dumbest shit. Who really is dying to talk about any of these topics while trying to enjoy a video game anyways? The topics he's mentioning is these do's and don'ts right here. Be professional.
Don't!
Review the game. Don't use this game for your own personal soapbox of political viewpoints. Don't talk about China's government. Don't talk about the quarantine. Just talk about the game. To which Paul Tassi decides to quote treat. Imagining BioWare sending out an email saying not to discuss right-wing talking points about a gender, sexuality, or female beauty standards if you want a Dragon Age review code, and we'll see how the same crowd would react. Oh, okay. That's the most disingenuous comment you've ever posted, Paul. So, let's discuss. First off, let's define right wing. Are you talking about the GOP? Are you talking about the Libertarian Party? Are you talking about some party lines or anyone that does not agree with your political viewpoint? Because we're talking about anyone that does not believe in your political viewpoint. That's not right wing. That encompasses everyone who's not left wing. That's an absolutism. If we're talking about people if we're talking about the GOP stuff, or are we talking about where you sit in General Assembly? Because that's where right wing comes from, where you sit in General Assembly. If we're going with that, I got news for you, Paul. America has a different standard of that. Republicans are on the left, or Republicans on the right, Democrats on the left. Okay? That's the General Assembly. If you go to Europe, depending on which country you go to, it's also different because every country has their own political viewpoints. You go to Asia, same thing. There's a right wing in China. And it's not right wing that you would think. It's their political spectrum, their views of communism. Or are you talking about an American political spectrum? Because if you do, then it's anarchy versus totalitarianism. Right wing is anarchy, totalitarianism is leftism. And that's from the Federalist Papers to the Founding Fathers. They define right and left in their view. And that has always been a staple for American government for over 200 years. But I will say this, if BioWare came to me and says, you can't talk about right-wing politics, you can only review the game, you can't talk about our beliefs in gender, sexuality, female beauty standards, or whatever, if you want to review code, like, okay. So all I can do is review what's in the game. And I'm going to make sure they understand it. All I can do is review what's in the game. And they say, yes, but you can't talk about the gay people in this game. Or you can't talk about how ugly the women are in this game. Then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go buy the game myself and go say whatever I want. Because I don't agree to that. But they're giving a free game and says I can't talk about my personal politics in the same context that Game Science is saying. I can't talk about wokeism or any of this other stuff. I can only review what's in the game. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to review the game. I'm going to talk about the hitboxes, the collisions, the story, the art, the graphics, all that. So yeah, I would do that. And if you want to know how the same crowd would react about censorship, y'all are the ones censoring us. Y'all are the ones censoring YouTubers, right-wingers, centrists, you name it. I'm apolitical. I don't take a side in this fucking right versus left bullshit. Because I've served under 2 different presidents. And both sides of the party screwed us over. That's how I feel on it. So that's why I don't do politics. I came home and found the best thing that heals this land is video games. And y'all are trying to take that away from us. So don't sit here and tell me, Paul, that you are upset because you can't write politics. You want to do politics? Quit your job, go find a political pundit job somewhere and write about that. Can't find one? Then stop being a little bitch, pull up your boots by your bootstrap. Stop being a little bitch, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, buckle your belt, turn on your PC, turn on your camera, turn on your mic, and start recording your politics. Build yourself a base like all YouTubers do. You do realize we YouTubers are eating your lunch because you don't review games like you're supposed to. We don't come here for your political takes. We want that. We would go to a political journalist. We'd watch CNN or Fox News or some political news channel if we wanted politics. No. The section you cover is video games. When I click on Forbes and I go to the video games category, guess what I expect to read? Things about video games, not your political outtakes, not your smears, not your shoddy journalism. This is why a lot of YouTubers turned on a screen and decided, hey, I'm going to talk about this game. I'm going to play this. This is why I made Levistro Plays 10:30 Central PM every night. It's where I decided I'm going to play a game because I like playing games and sharing games, and I'm trying to heal this land. Because gamers are so trained by you guys to see everything as political, they're starting to look for the woke and the littlest things and not the merits of the game itself. So yeah, I'll agree with you on that. But every game you guys make tends to be crap. But yet there's a lot of good games out there that don't get any type of attention that would be fun and engaging for people. One example, Enshrouded. The first game I reviewed, the first game I played. You want another one? Asuka. I personally didn't like that genre, but it's a good game. There's no wokeism, there's no politics in it. It was a fun, good game. Want another one? The First Descendant. You want me to go down the line? Yes, Asia's got some games out, but there's some Western games out there. It's just you big major corporations out there have decided, oh, we're going to do wokeism because we don't want to bend the knee because we don't want SBI beating us with a baseball bat anymore, or Paul Tassi and other journalists smearing us. And I'm surprised I'm siding with a company in a communist country saying, you know what? That's not censorship. What they're asking for is fair. They made a good or service based on the sweat, blood, and tears of their own people, of their own team, and they're sharing it, and they're offering it for free as long as you review the game. They want you to talk about the game, not about the smear campaigns, not about your political standpoints. You're supposed to be a game journalist. This is why we call you a urinalist. And prove me wrong, Paul. Prove me wrong. All you journalists out there, whoever's watching this video who's a game journalist, prove me wrong that you don't give a shit about towing the line, about getting a Pulitzer Prize, about being famous for exposing something that didn't exist, making a mountain out of a molehill, finding something and taking it out of context. Y'all aren't journalists anymore. Y'all are paparazzi. Y'all are like those tabloid papers when I was a kid. Let me put it this way. There was a tabloid paper that makes things like that went and dug in somebody's trash cans, right? Found something of them, took a photo of it, and took it out of context. A perfect example of that is another movie, Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. Eddie Brock takes a doctored photo of Spider-Man and smears the shit out of him. Just saying. Just saying. So yeah. Back then, though, editors had balls and says, you know what? We don't want you working here. I hope your editor what reads this. I hope he has some balls and realizes maybe he should have read your article because I found only 3 of your 4 sources in my video. Again, up here in the left-hand corner, were up to date. You chose one from June so you could talk about a smear campaign on game science. So don't sit here and tell me, imagine if it was right-wing, because y'all do that. And people say it's foul and unfair. But here, they did not say left-wing politics or anything. They said only talk about the game. Because let me tell you, I know one thing that's a right-wing politic, COVID. Right? Now, granted, I don't think they even talk about it much anymore. I haven't heard news about it from right-wingers. So you don't like to have a discussion. You want to smear people for your agenda. Shame on you. Like I said, prove me wrong. This is my opinion. This is what I see in the data I give out. But what do you think, viewer? Are game journalists salty and reading because they can't talk about politics in games? Are they reading because, or are they reading because there's actual censorship in the game? Are they upset that game science is trying to find some fair? Are they upset that game science is trying to find some fair reviews of their game, or are they trying to influence the market in light of customers? Does Paul Tassi have a point? Is China, the CCP, flexing being authoritarian in regards to this game, or is this a big nothing burger? Are you going to buy the game? Are you going to play it? Follow us on X to get updates of when we go live for Black Myth Wukong, or join our Discord and get up-to-date notifications and the links within our Discord. Put your comments down in the comments below. And as always, happy gaming.